Hello, and welcome back to the time that we spend with William McKisock from Schooley Mitchell. William shares with us every week fun and exciting information about expense savings. And we're so delighted to have you here with us today. Don't forget to go in and look at the YouTube channel. You'll see many past videos of William and I talking about the very important topic of expense savings. And when you go in to look at the YouTube channel and you look at those, please make sure to like and to share things that you think might be interesting to you and to other people. And of course, please comment. We love to see the comments, and we love to see if there's other topics that you want us to cover as we talk about expense savings inside of these different sessions. So it's always such a pleasure to be here with you, William, today. And I always love your introduction where you share a little bit more information about what you do at Schooley Mitchell.
Yeah, no, thank you again for giving me the opportunity to say my piece, because obviously I'm interviewing lots of businesses. It's kind of nice to have the tables turned. Before I say anything about what we do at Schooley Mitchell, I just wanted to give you a shout out, because anybody watching this video, you're an absolute retail expert. So if you're a business and you're looking for help in the retail space, customer service, any of those areas, I highly recommend that you contact Patty at her details below. I have interviewed Patty before, so if you're watching this, you can go and look at the interview previously, but I just wanted to do that before we get going and what I have to say about what Schooley Mitchell does. Schooley Mitchell, North America's largest independent expense reduction consulting company. And the company's based in Stratford, Ontario. There's over 100 members of staff at headquarters, and around half of those are analysts. So although I've got a lot of work behind me and what I do, it's actually my team behind me that's doing the real work. It's my job to get in front of people and educate them that Schooley Mitchell exists and we can help businesses save money. So the categories that we help businesses save money is telecom, credit card processing, shipping, waste, e-signature, utilities, and fuel. So we audit those cost categories individually for any business of any size in any industry. It doesn't matter what you do. It's the same. We're looking at the same vendors on behalf of those industries. One of the biggest things we're bringing to the table when we do those audits is there's only two outcomes. We'll do the audit for free. It doesn't cost to have an audit done. And what we're doing in that audit will confirm you've got the best prices and services for free. So if you do have the best prices and services, we'll confirm it with the audit, or we save you money and our fees are a share of any savings we find. It's that simple. We'll look at your prices. We'll talk to your vendors. We'll give you an audit report. And even if we do find savings, you don't have to pay us. You remain completely in control. So you're only going to pay us on recommendations that you accept that saves you money. Otherwise, you've had a free audit. Simple as that.
I love that this is such a win-win for businesses. And we've spent a lot of time in the past sessions talking about what companies and organizations can do with the monies that they save and how important expense management is. So once again, for our listeners, if you haven't gone back and looked at the different sessions where William and I have talked about it, go back and take a look at those, because there's some really great key valid points that William's brought up of the importance of expense management and then what organizations can do with the monies that they save. And one of the things we haven't done quite yet that we're going to delve into just a little bit today is get a little bit more industry specific, because we all know the holiday season is upon us. And one of the big pieces with the holiday season is Cyber Monday that's coming up. And whether it's Cyber Monday and it's for an organization that is shipping out nationwide and so on and so forth, and serving customers nationally or internationally, as well as that whole big shop local thing that happens during the Thanksgiving Day weekend, is e-commerce. And there's so much that happens inside of e-commerce. And it's something that I don't think most people realize how expensive it is to run an e-commerce business, because it is very costly for organizations to do that. And you've got some really key savings that you can provide for these organizations in e-commerce and certainly help them in many ways. And I wanted to just kind of throw it out to you as an open question of what it is that you can do for e-commerce businesses. Because like I said, I don't think most people understand how expensive it is to run an e-commerce business.
Yeah, across all the categories that we look at for Schooley Mitchell, it usually works out 15 to 20% is what that's costing that business to pay for those vendors. In the e-commerce space, if you think of an e-commerce business, well, any business, one of the highest costs is their employee costs. You can't avoid that. That's if you need employees in your business, you have to pay for it. It's not an area we look at. But from an e-commerce perspective, two of the biggest costs and the lifeblood of an e-commerce business is the shipping and the credit card processing. because they have to get the products out to the clients and they have to get paid. So without those, there's no business. There's no high employee cost. There's no cost for anything because they're not in business. So those are two areas that we focus on with the e-commerce sector. Obviously, we've got other categories that we can look at for e-commerce businesses, but credit card processing and shipping are the main ones. Pure and simple, like every other category, we work with e-commerce businesses and we talk to the vendors. We always talk to their incumbent vendors. Look at shipping. We'll talk to FedEx. If they're working with FedEx, we'll talk to FedEx and we'll put the information that we get back from FedEx on a report having negotiated with them. But we're also going to show them the best deal with UPS. We may show them the DHL. We may show them the United States Postal Service. We're going to show them what the best deals are. We're going to do that work for them. And 95% of the time we find savings. On the credit card processing side, it's the same deal. We just do it a little bit differently because the rates sit differently. It all depends on what credit cards you're taking, when you're taking them, how you're taking them, and all the different rates for all the different processors out there, all the different card types. So again, we'll negotiate with the vendors and we'll put that on a report. So if you think of a credit card processing, an e-commerce business, if we're looking at the credit card processing and the shipping, we're going to do an individual audit for each one of those. We're going to spend our time, we're going to talk to their vendors, and we're going to negotiate better deals for them as much as we can. If we can't negotiate a better deal for them, we're going to do an audit in the background for them for free. In each one of those categories, so they're going to get a shipping audit and they're going to get a credit card processing audit done for free. If we do find savings, we're going to give them a shipping audit. We're going to give them a credit card processing audit. And in each one, we'll show them where they're spending the money because we looked at the contracts and the billing statements. We'll show them this is where your money's going and we'll show the recommendations that we've recommended to find savings. And the incumbent vendor that they're working with already will always be in that report. And then the client will decide if they want to do anything with that. So the cool thing for e-commerce businesses, we take the weight off their shoulders and making sure they have the best deal possible, making sure that not just the best deal price-wise, but making sure they've got the best service possible. Because again, for e-commerce businesses, that's the lifeblood of that business, the e-commerce side of it, the shipping and the credit card processing. Without that, they don't have a business. So we make sure it's as streamlined as possible for that business. So it's not just about the fees they're paying, it's making sure the service they're receiving is the best service possible. And because we operate outside the borders of that business, that business has only got themselves to negotiate with UPS and FedEx and credit card processing companies. There's too many of them to name. Credit card processing companies, they're negotiating on their own footing, just them negotiating with their vendors, and they might be good at it. I always assume they're good at it. I walk into any business and assume you have the best deal possible. But the difference between them and us is that they're packing stuff and selling it and getting paid for it. They're doing all that. We don't do any of that stuff. We don't sell widgets. We don't sell anything. We just negotiate with the vendors. But we're doing that from a point of view where we've got a database having negotiated with over 25,000 clients with these vendors. And it's all we do. So that's a huge piece of value to have plugged into your business. And we don't cost anything because that business is only going to pay us if we find savings that they've accepted in the recommendations.
Yeah. And, it's funny because those of us that are a certain age, we remember those ads on television when we were growing up. And one of them was the Ginsu knives. And I remember, as they're showing the knife slicing and dicing and cutting down a tree and doing all this crazy stuff. But at the end of every ad, it was, here's how much this is going to cost you plus $9.95 for shipping. I remember that so clearly, that $9.95 for shipping. And now companies are having to absorb that cost inside their organizations with everything that Amazon has done with Prime and free shipping and things like that. So customer expectation has shifted so much that there's going to be that the company is going to absorb that cost. So being able to do this is something that can really help an organization with their expense management.
Yes, and you kind of hit the nail on the head there that the customer is usually paying for the shipping. Some e-commerce business will tell us is that because they have the customer pay for it, it's not really relevant to them. Well, it's totally relevant to them because the customer sees a higher cost of that business. So doing business with that particular e-commerce company. So if we go to an e-commerce business and we say to them, we can reduce your shipping costs, it's up to them how they share that new wealth. They can save the money and just keep doing what they're doing and make more money, be more profitable. They can still be more profitable and reduce those costs to their clients, or they could offer the clients no cost shipping. And what's that going to do for a business? I mean, if you're looking at two businesses that are identical, one says no cost shipping, one says $5.99 for shipping. it's a no-brainer. You're going to go with the one with the no-cost shipping. So that it allows e-commerce businesses that opportunity to do that. And also because in the credit card processing side, if we can get their costs down there, again, it makes them more streamlined. It allows them to spend that money however they like. So if we could say we couldn't find them saving in shipping, and we did find them a ton of saving in I'm going to say e-commerce and credit card processing, they could use that new wealth and reduce their shipping costs just the same. So it's up to them how they do that. Usually when we come into an e-commerce business and we look at the shipping and credit card processing as the main cost areas, we almost always find savings anyway. So there's new wealth that client can bring to the table for themselves and or their clients, their customers.
You know, it's funny because every time we talk, he brings something up that just propels a future topic. And you know, what I would like for us to do in the future is talk a little bit more about the telecom costs that companies incur and things like that, because especially for the e-commerce people, I would imagine that cost is pretty high. But I think that would be a great topic for us to just really dive down into that one topic of telecom and what your organization and your company can do for people. So as always, we get a fun fact from William when we do this, and William's going to share some of his early things with Thanksgiving. As you all know, William is Scottish, and so Thanksgiving was new to him when he came to the U.S. 11 years ago, I think you said to me.
Almost 11 years ago.
I'm very curious to hear about this.
Yeah, Thanksgiving in Scotland and anywhere, any of the countries in the United Kingdom, the big dinner at Christmas is a big turkey dinner with all the trimmings. And we came here and we do Thanksgiving. It's a big turkey dinner with all the trimmings. And Thanksgiving, the way it's delivered and the way the sense of the atmosphere in the country, it's almost everything's gone quiet. It kind of feels like Christmas Day for us. So it kind of feels that we're having 2 Christmas days, celebrating Thanksgiving, and then we get to celebrate Christmas again, because we usually go home to Scotland at Christmas and we eat loads of turkey and we do all the things. So having Thanksgiving in this country kind of makes me feel like I'm having 2 Christmas days at the end of the year.
I think that's a lot of fun. And as always, it's such a pleasure to talk with you, William. I love these sessions. Once again, please make sure to like the channel that William is putting these videos out onto, and then make sure to like the videos. And most importantly, we want to hear your comments and get your feedback on what you think about these videos, and certainly any future topics you would like for us to cover. That would be really great. And now, as always, at the end of what we're doing, I'm going to throw it over to Tanya for some traffic.